Hello everyone, it's Gigabeef here, and BSG have just launched possibly one of the most important game updates that we have seen for a while, so let's check it out. Posted to Twitter this morning, they have reduced the recoil angle for all weapons, reduced the stamina penalty when hit by any type of ammo, increased the weight limit whilst overweight, reduced stamina consumption in various cases, decreased energy and water consumption in raid, and greatly reduced penalties from armoured rigs and body armour. So let's break it down starting from the top on Recoil. This has been the hot topic on Twitter recently, and for good reason may I add, so this change begins to directly address these concerns. What has actually happened here when they say the recoil angle has been reduced is actually the horizontal recoil on the weapons. You can easily see that this is the case by comparing any of the guns to how they used to feel. Fortunately, I have some MDR testing that will be featured in an upcoming video, and you can see that standing in the same place with the same gun, we have greatly reduced horizontal recoil, about half in this case. Reducing the horizontal recoil makes the guns feel way more controllable without having to change the vertical recoil specifically, because as we have discussed in the past, horizontal recoil is random left to right and as such not really possible to predict. Vertical on the other hand does have some variation, but broadly speaking keeps to the same up to the top and then resettle back to the middle type pattern, so it can mostly be controlled by the player. So this change should help all weapons feel more comfortable to use on full auto. Next, we have reduced stamina penalty when hit by ammo. We're going to have to see how this one feels because it's more of a qualitative judgment call when playing. For an example, I got shot by this scav in offline for a bit, and we can see that the stamina drain is still significant, but not as high as it used to be. Next, the increased weight limit before going overweight. Post this update, I can now hold 28 kilograms of kit on my player before going into the yellow, and previously for me this was around the 23 kilogram mark, which is very impactful. My strength is only level 13. So long as you're not going crazy, you can now have a weapon, headset, helmet, armor, bag, mags, and some consumables such as meds, grenades, or tasking special equipment while staying under the weight limit. If you try to take everything under the sun, you'll probably still go over, but this makes it more of a choice rather than a foregone conclusion that you'll be overweight in most of your raids. Previously, I used to spend a few minutes specifically honing things down to ensure that I was underweight to try and get at least some endurance skill points before picking up my first piece of loot, and I'm not one for going in massively kitted, especially early in the wipe. The other part of this that changed is the maximum weight that slows you down to a crawl when it goes red inside the inventory stats screen. Usually you only see this if you're trying to haul out a tank battery or something, but for reference mine has gone from 67 to 72. Next, we have reduced stamina consumption in various cases. This refers to at least crouching and getting back up. Compare this clip of going prone and standing versus this one after the patch, and overall it's about half of what it was before. If this also affects anything else, I guess we'll see in the coming days. As for decreased energy and water consumption, this might require some testing, because looking at what it says in game, this is exactly the same. I did my video on the stim that gives energy and hydration recently, and I haven't leveled my health skill since then, and given in-game I still have minus 2.44 for water and minus 3.01 for food, it does appear that this hasn't actually changed. I haven't gone through and waited testing it with a stopwatch and stuff, but either it's just not showing correctly or it hasn't actually been implemented. Finally, we have the penalty reductions from armoured rigs and body armour. This is actually a massive change. In short, what this affects is the three soft stats present on each armour piece: the move speed, the turn rate, and the ergonomics debuffs. For rigs, every stat has been halved and rounded down. For regular armour, only the move speed and the ergonomics penalties have been adjusted by the same method, so they've been halved and rounded down, but the turn rate has been kept the same. Clearly, where we will see the biggest changes here are on those armors that had bad stats to begin with. The Zabralo, for example, has gone from minus 35% move speed to minus 17%, and ergonomics from minus 27 to minus 30. As the turn rate is the one stat that isn't the same between all types of armors, interestingly the Gen 4 Full and the Gen 4 Mobility are now the second and third worst armors for turn rate, because they were bad before, but they didn't get a buff here because they are regular pieces of armor and not a rig. Only the Redoute T5, Zabralo, NFM Thor, and the Gen 4 Full have over 10% move speed reductions, so this is now a much less impactful choice across the board when picking armor in general. Overall, I think these changes are a step in the right direction. At the very least, it shows BSG's willingness to listen to the community when constructive feedback is given in a deliberate and targeted way. Hopefully this is the first change of many trying something different. So as usual, a big shout out to all my patrons, hit all the buttons if you enjoyed the video, and as always, have fun in your raids.